Hi, yes, pool update time. Look at this. It's a winner chicken dinner. It is complete. And yes, we have gone for our first swim and it was absolutely fantastic. And yes, that is a Millennium Falcon because why not? And yes, the lights are operational and it's all hunky-dory. And it's crystal clear. Now, it's fantastic. I'm not sure that's my wide angle camera. That's my different camera. They do have different color balances, the camera, but trust me, it is crystal clear. It's a bit chlorine-y at the moment because it doesn't actually contain any salt. We were advised to wait a week before we actually put the salt in it. So yeah, we'll do that. So yeah, it's a bit chlorine-y, so it has had some chlorine added to it, but this will be a saltwater pool. And I'll show you in a sec how it generates it will generate the chlorine from the salt. If you've been following along, especially thanks to everyone who turned up for the live stream to watch me fill this thing, it did take less than 24 hours to fill this thing from the tap. And for those who ask, no, it costs bugger all to fill it up here. It's cheap. It's like less than $100 here to actually fill this up from our potable tap water from Sydney Water. So yeah, that's not a thing overseas apparently, but that's the thing here. Nobody hires a water truck to come and fill it up. So anyway, yeah, it looks fantastic. So it did have a green tinge to it when we first filled it up, and we were warned about that. That was some runoff from the beadcrete. The beadcrete material, for those who, oh no, it's underwater now. Can't really see the beadcrete anymore, but yeah, it's fantastic. And it's terrific. So all the pump stuff is hooked up except for the heat pump, so it is operational. And so once we got one full flush of this thing through the filter, through the sand filter, then yeah, it turned completely clear. Fantastic. So here is the almost final, well no, it's the final operational thing. And yes, the pump is running here, so I've just got it in manual mode. The timer is actually set, so it's just going through I'm just learning at the moment. Chlorine level is actually high at the moment, and we could actually we did notice that when we went for a swim. pH is set to 7.6. It's currently 6.6, so it's hard to get the screen at the right angle without the glare there. So yeah, but this thing, it will stabilize once we get the salt in there and it generates its own chlorine. So let me run you through what we've got here. This big thing is our sand filter. This is an Astral Pool sand filter. It's the APV 700 here. It's the 705. It's the FG 705, I believe it is. So it's designed for 360 litres per minute flow on it, and it's got all the different modes here. So it's on regular filter at the moment, waste, where you can actually just drain if you want to drain the pool. It just pops out the side, goes into the main sewer, and that's done down there. There you go. So it's working a treat. And then we close if you want to shut it off, and then the backwash, of course, if it gets above, been told, if it reaches the red over here, if it ever gets into there, then you should be running the backwash feature, run it for like 10-20 minutes or something, and it should completely clean the filter back out there. So yeah, it's got recirculate and rinse modes as well. And we've got the Astral Pool, what is it? The Viron Equilibrium. It supposedly has AI in it. But anyway, no, this is a fully automated system. So we don't have to measure the pH, we don't have to measure the chlorine level or anything. It does all that because there's our sensors down there. We've got our pH sensor and our chlorine sensor down there. Apparently are supposed to like do them periodically, clean probes and injection points periodically. So I don't know, leave it in the comments down below if you're familiar with maintaining these things, but I assume I saw the chlorine one there. It's got like a little, just a copper probe on it, so it might gunk up or something like that perhaps. I don't know. If you know all that sort of jazz, leave it in the comments down below. But we have our acid, our hydrochloric acid pump here, and that's going to pump. That's going to pump over into here, and here is our cell that converts the salt water into chlorine, and so we don't have to add any chlorine to this system. Should produce its own chlorine from the salt water. So that's all controlled via the smart controller here. So in theory, if everything's maintained and it doesn't break down, the only thing that we should really have to maintain is the hydrochloric acid thing here. So yeah, we've got a whole bunch of hydrochloric acid there, so we have to make sure that doesn't run flat, but run out. So as long as we do that, we should be right to go. So it actually produces via electrolysis, I'm sure, it converts the salt water into chlorine. No worries, just basic chemistry. And we've got some bypass valves here if you ever want to service any of that, I believe. Not entirely sure what, there's another, I'm not sure what that does. If anyone knows, is that a flappy, there's nothing controlling that. It's like a flappy valve in there. I don't know. Leave that in the comments. Don't actually know what that is, but it's in line with that. But this is all in series basically, and the pump, which is quite silent, but we do have the acoustic box here with all the acoustic foam. So I haven't actually completely closed the thing up to see what it sounds like, but it's pretty silent. And this is a CTX series, an Astral Pool pump. It's a single speed pump because I'm not sure about the advantages of the variable speed pump. Apparently they use less energy, but you've got to run them all the time. The whole idea with this is we want to run this from our solar, from our excess solar power. So I've got the timer. This has 4 different timers in it. So I've got it set to come on at 11 a.m. And turn on for 4 hours. We're supposed to run it apparently for 4 hours a day. That's what the pool guy recommends. 4 hours a day. This is a 360 litre pump. This is a CTX 360 model, if you want, for those playing along at home. And yeah, we'll have to maintain the filter in here. There's an O-ring in here which you have to check and re-grease every 6 months, because it does work on a sealed, you know, the system has to be sealed. So, you know, if you get any leaks in your O-ring and stuff like that, it affects the efficiency of your pump. So what else we've got, haven't hooked up, there's the Maddie Mac heat pump. Technically it is hooked up, but it's not operational yet. I haven't haven't installed, haven't powered any of it yet, but we do have a bypass valve here. So here's the inlet. So inlet comes in here, water in, there you go, and hot water out. So this is a heat pump, just like I've done that video on with the heat pump. We have a heat pump hot water system here, so I can link that in, but I'm sure everyone's probably seen that. So if you ever want to work on the heat pump, you can just bypass it. So instant like comes in here and you can just bypass it straight back out, and all your pool pump still works, but it just doesn't get hot. So anyway, it has a maximum COP of 16.2 coefficient of performance there, depending upon the ambient temperature, the inlet temperature, the water temperature. And for those playing along at home, there you go, that's what they rate that thing at. So once again, it'll be using excess solar. So all of this stuff will be on timers to use excess solar. We probably could automate it to like really intelligently use excess solar, just like I do with my Zappy charger with the EV. But anyway, so what we got the Aquaquip transformer here. That's running the 2 lights there. There's just the output is just 12 volts AC. They're 30 watts each by the looks of it. And this my pool guy didn't actually know what this was. He hadn't actually seen one before. This is a multi-heater switch integrate, it's called, and it's designed to work with the heat pump. And what happens is that The heat pump I believe, doesn't actually have a water pump in it. So it's got to rely on, so you either have to have a separate pump just to pump for the heat pump, or you can use the existing pump here. But the timer on the heat pump here doesn't know that whether or not what this timer in here is doing and whether or not this pump is actually on. So I'm not sure if it can detect the water flow and then switch on. I don't know. I haven't even powered it up. It's got a whiz-bang fancy screen, and it's got a Wi-Fi, connections and all sorts of jazz like that. But anyway, so what this thing does is eventually, at the moment, we've got the pump, the pool pump, hooked straight into the chlorinator here. But what we're going to do is plug this into the chlorinator. Like the mains output of this goes from here into this, and then the heat pump via these control wires here can override whatever this thing does and can turn on the heat pump. It can turn on the mechanical water pump independently of the chlorinator up here, if I'm explaining that correctly and if you get it. So yeah, that's what's designed to happen. So that if we set the timer for this and we've got some excess solar we want to use, let's turn this bad boy on. Even if the pump is not running, this will override that via this control cable here, and it will manually switch on the water pump down here, because it's not going to heat up your water too well if you don't actually circulate your water. So in terms of water flow, this one, the CTX 360, the 360 number's a giveaway, 360 litres per minute. I do believe we're about 35,000 litres here. So we're talking about 100 minutes to do a full cycle of all the water in the pool. So yeah, that's what it'll take. So that's not too bad at all. I think it's probably maybe a bit oversized pump for the pool, perhaps. I'm not sure, but anyway, it is pumping at the moment. Haven't actually been in there when it was pumping. Oh yeah, I can feel it coming out. There you go, winner, chicken dinner. But that's it. That is the tour of the new pool. I'll work on the heat pump, get that all set up. But apart from that, yeah, it's pretty much good to go. And I believe we can start adding salt in about a week. It looks like we're going to need probably 150 kilo or so, 150 kilos of salt, something like that. Not sure if we add it all in one go or whether or not we actually progressively do that. I think you need 4,000 parts per million. If it gets under 3,000 parts per million, it'll warn you of salt. So I think it has to be nominally around 4,000 parts per million of salt. So I don't know, you can work that out with the 35,000 litres roughly, and how much salt you need to get your 4,000 parts per million. But anyway, there you go. Pretty cool, huh? It's all hooked up and working. Oh yeah, and this is the waste output valve. So when you put it into the backwash or the waste mode to actually drain your pool, then yeah, it just goes out there and goes down the drain into the sewer. So cool bananas, huh? It's a few little things left to do, but it's working. Anyway, hope you liked it. Catch you next time.